Hello, I'm Josie Grace, and on this episode of In the Spotlight, we take a look at another sponsor, and that's Camel's cigarettes. The Camel brand was first introduced to America in 1913 by R.J. Reynolds Tobacco, which is located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where it was founded. The city has the nickname Camel City because of the brand's popularity. In 1913, it was the R.J. Reynolds Company that introduced packaged cigarettes that we know today. Prior to the tailor-made cigarettes, smokers rolled their own tobacco, and that habit tended to obscure the potential for a national market for pre-packaged products. To combat this problem, Reynolds created the Camel cigarette, which had a more appealing flavor because it used Turkish tobacco, which is why they got the name Camel. The Turkish tobacco was used to imitate then-fashionable Egyptian cigarettes. Within a year, Camel sold 425 million packs of the new product across the country. The cigarettes were originally blended to have a milder taste than all the other popular brands. Camels were promoted in advance with an advertising campaign that included teasers simply saying, "The Camels are coming." This type of marketing was also used to sway public opinion into backing the United States' entry into World War I and then later World War II. The brand went along with supporting the troops and, like so many other companies of the time, made sure those soldiers that wound up in the hospital still got their Camels.
Ladies and gentlemen, every week the makers of Camel send thousands of packs of Camels to service hospitals. That's to help show hospitalized men and women of the armed forces that those at home haven't forgotten them. This week's free Camels go to Veterans Hospitals, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and Amarillo, Texas. Nellis Air Force Hospital, Las Vegas, Nevada. U.S. Naval Hospital, Naval Medical Center, Guam, Marianas Islands. Now, until next week, enjoy Camels. I always do.
Camels did their part in traveling advertising too. One of the more original promotions was Old Joe, a circus camel driven through towns used as an attraction. If you came to see Old Joe, you would get free cigarettes. The brand's slogan became "I'd walk a mile for a camel" and was used for decades. Camel is the original unfiltered cigarette that was sold in a soft pack. They're known as Camel Straights or Camel Regulars. Their popularity peaked when celebrities like news broadcaster Edward R. Murrow's use was so heavy, smoking a Camel no filter became his trademark. A few famous radio personalities used the brand as well and touted their smooth flavor on the programs they starred in.
More people smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
And among the millions of Camel smokers are many stars who know the importance of mildness in a cigarette because their voices are their living. Our own Dick Powell has been a Camel smoker for a good long time. Is that right, Dick?
Yes, it is, Ed, and I'm smoking one right now.
Well, you're in good company. Among other stars who smoke Camels are John Wayne, Risa Stevens, Ezio Pinza, Martha Tilton, and so on. Friends, find out for yourself how mild and flavorful a cigarette can be. Make the Camel 30-day test, and you'll know why more people smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Camels also used an advertising tactic on the radio by visiting people in a scenario where the product was either being used or purchased.
On the corner of Main and Catalpa Streets, two men were talking.
So I said to him, "Frank, I've been buying from you for 14 years. You've got to give me some Camels."
Yeah? Then what?
"Stoop down under that counter," I said. "Come around here and see for yourself," he said to me.
No Camels?
No Camels.
Yeah, same with me, too. So I've been smoking this brand and that. Huh. Remember how those guys on the radio used to say, compare Camels with other cigarettes? Huh. Now when you gotta compare, whether you want to or not, you really begin to catch on to what great cigarettes those Camels are.
Yeah, mild, but boy, what a flavor. You knew you were having a smoke of Camel.
Yeah. But I keep on buying Camel, asking for them every time I buy cigarettes. Get them, too, sometimes. And do you know I was talking to
Yes, folks, keep on asking for Camels. Costlier tobaccos really aged and still blended in the traditional Camel way. This is one brand that will not be sold down the river.
C-A-M-E-L-S.
Camels, war or peace, Camel is still Camel.
Roma Wines was another brand to use this form of advertising to get its products sold, and it seemed to work. During the Second World War, there was an actual cigarette shortage that took the nation by storm. Not only did Americans have food rationing cards, but there were real cigarette rationing cards as well. It got so bad, some companies started using an aged tobacco or different ingredients so their product tasted different. Camels, on the other hand, assured customers that wasn't the case with them.
You know, you hear all sorts of rumors about the cigarette shortage. Theories are tossed around like confetti at a New Year's Eve celebration. Well, I'm not going into all the whys and wherefores, but I can speak for the makers of Camels. More Camels have been made than ever before in our history, and still the demand can't be met. But when you do get Camels, they are Camels. Still a cigarette of costlier tobaccos, blended in the time-honored Camel way. Not one shred of tobacco that isn't properly aged is being used. Camel's reputation will not be sold down the river, no matter what the pressure of these times. Ask for Camels every time you buy cigarettes. Their rich, full flavor and cool mildness make them worth asking for again. And again.
C-A-M-E-L-S.
War or peace, Camel is still Camel.
Many tobacco companies did send their products overseas, and it's said by the end of the war the smoking rate had increased by 75%. Many troops came home addicted to the habit. Over the years, many cigarette companies, including Camels, tried to do their best to avoid bad press from the medical community. There were a few small-scale studies from the 1920s to the 1940s saying smoking could be harmful to health. It wasn't until 1952 when two American doctors, Kyler Hammond and Daniel Horn, started a study involving 10 states, over 180,000 men between the ages of 50 and 69, and over 3 years a definitive link was established. But that didn't stop companies like Camels from advertising in magazines, on television, and on the radio.
What's America's most popular cigarette?
Camel, buy billions of cigarettes per year.
Two of the important reasons why Camel is so popular are flavor and mildness. Camel's choice tobaccos are properly aged and skillfully blended to give you a smoke that's rich in flavor. And mildness? Here's conclusive proof.
In a coast-to-coast test, hundreds of men and women smoked only Camels for 30 days. Leading throat specialists made careful weekly examinations of the throats of those smokers and reported
not one single case of throat irritation due to smoking Camels.
Here's a suggestion. Make your own Camel 30-day test. Smoke only Camels for the next 30 days. You'll enjoy Camel's rich, full flavor, and your throat will tell you how mild Camels are.
How mild, how mild, how mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Make the Camel 30-day test and you'll see. Smoke Camels and see.
Despite all the bad press, smoking was, and still is, one of America's pastimes. On July 1st of 2000, Camels introduced the Oriental variety, followed by Turkish Gold, which is a regular cigarette, in 2000. Turkish Jade is a menthol cigarette, which came out in 2001. In June of 2012, Camel filters were discontinued in the United Kingdom, but other versions of the cigarette are still available. In 2013, Camel celebrated its 100th anniversary. That was commemorated with an editorial in the LA Times by Professor Robert N. Proctor of Stanford University. It noted that in the last 100 years, Camels has sold over 4 trillion cigarettes.